Welcome to Alchemist Tribune Deep Dives, hosted by the Academic Renegade. We're here to share insights and analysis from the latest articles in the Alchemist Tribune. Each week, we explore how doctorate holders are transforming academic expertise into entrepreneurial success. Let's dive in.
Today we're discussing a topic that keeps many brilliant minds up at night. What happens after you emerge from your PhD cocoon with beautiful academic wings, only to realise you might need to grow a completely different set for the professional world?
Oh, that metamorphosis metaphor is painfully accurate. We're tackling the fascinating journey from doctorate to professional success, and how to leverage that hard-earned academic expertise in surprising new spaces.
Like many of our listeners, I remember feeling like I'd spent years becoming fluent in a language only spoken in university corridors. Then suddenly, I needed to translate all that specialised knowledge into something the wider world could understand, and more importantly, would pay for.
Exactly, and that's why today's discussion is so important. We'll be unpacking how to identify transferable skills, spot market opportunities, craft your unique value proposition, build your personal brand, and establish a sustainable career trajectory. It's like academic career cartography. We're mapping the terrain for those ready to explore beyond the ivory tower.
So grab your compass and your mental hiking boots, listeners. Let's start navigating.
Let's start at the beginning. Many PhDs struggle with what I call expertise imposter syndrome. They don't recognize just how valuable their skills actually are outside academia.
Oh, I definitely had that. I spent years studying distant galaxies and then suddenly needed to convince people that this somehow qualified me to work in data science for a financial tech company.
And did it?
Absolutely. But I had to reframe my skills. I wasn't just that space person who knows about quasars. I was someone who could tackle massive data sets, identify patterns, develop analytical frameworks, and communicate complex findings to non-specialists. Those are universally valuable skills.
That's such an important point. A PhD isn't just subject matter expertise. It's a training ground for critical thinking, data analysis, and information synthesis. Those skills translate everywhere.
Exactly. I had a colleague with a PhD in medieval literature who now works in corporate strategy. Her ability to analyse texts, identify underlying patterns, and construct narratives made her exceptional at developing strategic frameworks.
I love that example. Let me challenge our listeners with this thought experiment. Imagine explaining your research to a 10-year-old, then to a CEO of a company in an unrelated field. What skills are you using beyond your subject knowledge?
That's brilliant. You're adapting complex ideas for different audiences, prioritising information, constructing compelling narratives, and probably using analogies to make unfamiliar concepts accessible. Those are marketable skills.
And that's the first key takeaway from our discussion. Identify those transferable skills. Your PhD hasn't just made you an expert in a narrow field, it's equipped you with a robust toolkit that can be applied across industries.
Just like a Swiss Army knife isn't defined by any single tool, but by its versatility.
Precisely. Now let's talk about where to apply those tools.
So once you've identified your skills, how do you figure out where they're needed?
This is where many PhDs get stuck. They limit their job search to positions explicitly asking for their degree, missing countless opportunities where their skills would be valuable.
I call it the job description tunnel vision. You search for keywords related to your thesis and miss all these amazing roles you'd excel at, but never considered.
Exactly. And the article highlights the importance of researching expanding sectors relevant to your expertise. For instance, if you studied environmental science, don't just look at academic research positions. Consider environmental consulting, green technology firms, sustainability departments in major corporations, or even environmental policy roles.
Right, and let's talk about networking. I know it's the word that makes many academics break out in hives, but it's crucial.
Yes, the infamous N-word of academia. But networking doesn't have to be insincere small talk at awkward mixers. Think of it as scholarly collaboration, but in professional contexts.
I love that reframing. At conferences, we eagerly discuss research with colleagues. Networking is just extending that curiosity to understanding what challenges different industries face.
And how your expertise might help solve those challenges. One approach I found valuable was conducting informational interviews, conversations with professionals in fields I was curious about, with no immediate job-seeking agenda.
Those are gold mines for insight, and they often lead to opportunities down the road because you've established a genuine connection based on mutual interest.
Absolutely. I remember interviewing a conservation nonprofit director just out of curiosity, and 6 months later, she reached out about a position perfect for my background in evolutionary biology.
That's the magic of keeping your radar open. And speaking of open radars, the article mentions staying attuned to emerging trends. In my field, the rise of machine learning created incredible opportunities for astronomers with data science skills.
Yes, markets evolve constantly, creating new niches where academic expertise becomes surprisingly relevant. For instance, the growing focus on evidence-based policy has created roles for researchers across disciplines.
This reminds me of Wayne Gretzky's famous quote, "I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been."
Perfect analogy. PhDs need to look not just at today's job market, but anticipate where emerging challenges might create demand for their expertise.
Exactly. So, our second key takeaway: actively research expanding sectors, build genuine professional connections, and stay alert to emerging trends that might create unexpected opportunities for your specific expertise.
Let's talk about something that made me deeply uncomfortable when I first left academia: marketing myself.
Oh, I know that feeling well. In academia, self promotion often feels taboo. We're trained to let our research speak for itself and to downplay our contributions with hedging language.
Right. I was so used to writing in passive voice. It was observed that rather than claiming my insights. But in the professional world, clearly articulating your unique value is essential.
The dreaded unique value proposition, or UVP as the business folks call it. What does that actually mean for academics transitioning to other sectors?
It's essentially answering the question, what can you offer that others can't? And for PhDs, this is where your academic journey becomes an advantage rather than something to downplay.
That's such an important shift in perspective. Many PhDs try to hide their academic background, fearing it makes them seem too theoretical or removed from practical concerns.
When actually, it can be your superpower. Your UVP might include the specialized methodologies you've developed, the unique perspective your research has given you, or your ability to tackle problems that require deep analytical skills.
I like to think of it as your intellectual fingerprint, the unique combination of knowledge, skills, and experiences that only you possess.
That's a wonderful way to put it. And crafting this proposition isn't about inflating your achievements, it's about clearly communicating the genuine value you bring.
Right, and it needs to address specific needs in your target market. When I was transitioning from astrophysics to consulting, I didn't just say I'm good at math. I emphasised how my experience modelling complex stellar systems gave me unique tools for addressing business uncertainty and predictive analytics.
That's perfect. You connected your academic expertise directly to business challenges. And I imagine you had to refine that message several times.
Oh, absolutely. My first attempts were too technical and filled with academic jargon. I had to learn to articulate my value in language that resonated with my audience.
That translation process is crucial. I often tell academics to practice explaining their value proposition to someone completely outside their field. If they don't get it, you need to refine your message.
And remember that your UVP isn't static. It evolves as you gain new experiences and as market needs change.
Exactly. So, our third takeaway: define what sets you apart by identifying your unique combination of skills and experiences, and articulate how your academic journey equips you to solve specific problems for clients or employers.
We've talked about identifying skills and crafting a value proposition. Now comes the part that makes many academics cringe: building a personal brand.
Yes, the term personal brand can feel a bit corporate for those of us raised in the halls of academia, but it's really just about how you present yourself professionally and the reputation you build.
I think many academics actually have strong brands within their fields. They're known for particular research approaches or theoretical perspectives. The challenge is translating that to broader professional contexts.
That's a great point. You already have a professional identity. Now it's about consciously shaping how you're perceived beyond academia.
And that doesn't mean becoming someone you're not. Authenticity is crucial. Your brand should reflect your actual values, expertise, and working style.
Absolutely. For me, building a brand meant identifying what I truly valued, making complex science accessible and engaging for diverse audiences, and consistently embodying that in my work and communications.
The article mentions content marketing as a key strategy. How did you approach that?
I started writing accessible blog posts about evolutionary biology concepts, connecting them to current events or everyday phenomena. This showcased both my expertise and my communication skills.
That's brilliant. Showing rather than telling. Instead of just claiming you can communicate complex ideas, you demonstrated it.
Exactly. And what about you? How did you establish your brand?
I focused on social proof, documenting successful projects, collecting testimonials, and creating case studies that showed how my astrophysics background added unique value to business analytics projects.
That's such a smart approach. Social proof is particularly powerful because it's not just you claiming your value, it's others validating it.
The article also mentions visual branding, which initially seemed superficial to me, but having a consistent, professional presence across platforms really does matter.
Yes, your LinkedIn profile, website if you have one, presentation templates, they should all convey a cohesive impression that aligns with the professional identity you're building.
I think the key is focusing on substance first, style second. Your brand must be built on genuine expertise and value. The visual elements just help communicate that consistently.
Well put. So our fourth takeaway, develop a personal brand that authentically reflects your values and expertise, create content that demonstrates your knowledge, and leverage social proof to build credibility.
Collaborative projects give people a chance to experience working with you, which builds trust much faster than any networking event could.
The article also mentions attending industry events. I found those intimidating at first, but they're incredibly valuable for understanding the language, culture, and current challenges in different sectors.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate small focused events. Sometimes a local meetup can lead to more meaningful connections than a massive conference.
That's been my experience too. And remember, networking isn't just about finding job opportunities. It's about building a community that supports your ongoing professional growth.
Well said. So, our fifth takeaway, approach networking as relationship building rather than transactional card exchanging. Engage both online and in person, seek collaborative opportunities, and remember that quality connections often matter more than quantity.
We've covered a lot of ground on launching a post-academic career, but how do we ensure it remains fulfilling and sustainable long-term?
That's where the final section of the article comes in, embracing growth and sustainability. This is about taking a long view of your career trajectory.
I think this is particularly important for PhDs because we're used to deep, sustained engagement with our work. We don't just want jobs, we want meaningful professional journeys.
Exactly. And the first recommendation is regularly evaluating your market positioning and offerings. This means periodically assessing whether your skills and services still align with market needs.
I've made this a yearly practice, almost like an annual review for my own career. I ask, what emerging skills would complement my existing expertise? Are there new applications for my knowledge I haven't explored?
That's a fantastic practice. It prevents stagnation and helps you stay relevant as industries evolve.
The article also emphasizes adaptability, remaining flexible as industries change. This is something academics should excel at, given how research constantly evolves.
In theory, yes, though sometimes the deep specialization of academia can make pivoting challenging. That's why I think the recommendation to celebrate small victories is so important for maintaining motivation during transitions.
Absolutely. Career transitions can be long journeys with uncertain timeframes. Acknowledging progress, even small steps, provides the psychological fuel to continue.
The article mentions continuous learning too, which obviously resonates with academics, but it takes a different form outside academia.
Right. It might be more about breadth than depth, learning adjacent skills or industry-specific knowledge rather than diving ever deeper into a specialized research area.
Though sometimes that academic instinct to dig deep serves you well. When I started in science communication, my thorough research approach helped me quickly develop expertise in multimedia storytelling techniques.
That's a great point. Our academic training gives us excellent learning tools. The key is directing those tools toward knowledge that enhances our professional growth.
So, our final takeaway, take a long-term view of your career development. Regularly evaluate your positioning. Remain adaptable to industry changes. Celebrate progress to maintain motivation. And commit to continuous learning that broadens your professional capabilities.
Well, we've covered a comprehensive roadmap for PhDs transitioning beyond academia, from identifying transferable skills to building sustainable careers.
It's a journey I wish I'd been better prepared for, which is exactly why conversations like this matter so much.
Absolutely. If I could sum up our discussion in one thought, it would be this. Your PhD isn't just an academic credential. It's a powerful set of skills, experiences, and intellectual approaches that can create value in countless professional contexts.
Beautifully put. And discovering where and how to apply that value isn't just a practical necessity, it can be an exciting adventure that leads to unexpected and fulfilling career paths.
To our listeners navigating their own post-PhD journeys, remember that thousands have successfully made this transition before you. The path might not be linear, but it can lead to rewarding destinations you might not even be able to imagine yet.
Thanks for joining us on Alchemist Tribune Deep Dives. We're the academic renegade crew, reminding you that your doctorate is more than a degree. It's your launchpad to entrepreneurial success. For more insights, visit us at the Alchemist Tribune, where we're bridging the gap between academia and enterprise. Until next time, keep innovating.